Hey YouTube. So in my last video, you remember there was this pattern, and on the pattern I had left an inch longer piece all the way around here that would represent the metal that would turn around the door. Well, after I put this on the metal, you can see the black line had represented where the original pattern went to. Okay, so that would be that black line. That's where the original pattern was. Well, I didn't want to take off a whole inch or leave myself with a whole inch, because an inch is tough to grind off. I just wanted to give myself something to go by. So what I did then was I laid out the pattern here, and then after I did that, I cut exactly along the line on the pattern that was where the bottom edge of the door is going to be. So this pattern right now represents the face of the door skin, okay? The face of the door skin. So then what I did was I measured how much of the door skin went around, and I added 1/8 of an inch to it, and it gave me 1/2 of an inch. So here's what I have here. This black line represents this pattern edge. The cut, the place where I've made the cut, represents the 3/8 of an inch, or actually 1/2 inch, that I've given this to be able to, let me just take this tape off, to be able to give myself something to roll around the edge of the door. Okay, so now as I pull this tape off, the metal that you're seeing there is the 1/2 or 3/8 of an inch that I'm allowing for the edge of the door, the rollover, and then this is scrap. Alright, so going around the edges, I was using the DeWalt grinder to cut this. As you go around the edges on an outside curve or an inside curve, it's really hard to keep a nice turn. Now you can see there, this doesn't look bad, but what I'll do is I'll put on this grinding stone, okay, and a lot of people, you know, I guess the manufacturers want you to use the edge of the stone to grind with. Well, I don't do that. I use the face of the stone. Sometimes I use the edge, it depends on what I'm doing. But I'll use the edge of the stone to grind this edge off here, top and bottom, because actually there's razor sharp. I don't know if you can see the shards there. They are razor sharp. So if you're working, I like to work without gloves if I can help it. But sometimes I'll work with gloves, it depends on how much cutting I'm doing. But the bottom of this panel also has that razor edge on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change to this wheel from a cutting wheel to this wheel, and then I'm going to go ahead and grind the edge of this off. And then what I'll do is I'll cut the top of this right along the tape, and that will give me the panel that I want to put on that door, okay? The body panel. So I originally put the pattern on. It had a 1 inch overhang of the edge of the door. I put the pattern on. I didn't like that inch overhang, so what I did was I took the pattern. There was an inch overhang on here on the pattern. I cut the pattern off. First I marked the pattern roughly with the 1 inch, okay, the steel. Then I took and I cut that exactly along, as close as I could with a razor, along the edge of the exact body panel that's going to show the face of the door, okay, not the bending but the face. So then I put that in place, and when I marked that off, then I added a 1/2 an inch to that, and I put a 1/2 inch piece or mark all the way around here, and that is what I cut on. And don't forget, you want to use alcohol. You know what kind of alcohol I use. I showed it to you already in my other videos, to wipe the metal off, so that first of all the tape will stick good to it, and the marker or whatever you're going to use will stick good to it. Okay, so that's where I'm at so far. I'm going to change my wheel, dress off the edges of this, and then I'm going to cut along here, and that'll give me my body panel. And that'll also help me to decide whether I want to make on this door. I don't know for sure whether I want to put a flush weld along that, or I want to put an overlapping weld on that. I got to see what the door looks like when I open it up. So anyway, and again, I grinded these down. These are the hinges, and I'll clean them up and spray them so that that won't rust. And then when I go to put these together, after the paint's really dry hard, I think I'll put a gasket material around the top edge of the hinges when I bolt them down, so that they seal, so that no water gets between the hinge and the door. Okay? So that's what I'm going to do so far, or that's what I'm going to do next, and then I'll show you that as I get going with cutting the body panel and stuff. Okay, so I hope you've got that. Have a good one. Bye.